Kunja Bihari
Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari
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 Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Jaya Baladeva Mai Subhadra
Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Balagopal Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Gurudeva 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 Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jai
Jai
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ओम ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य
Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Varnamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Bhagavad Gita discussion tonight in a very special format, unique format due to the circumstances and times. So, of course, we'll discuss a little bit about that. So, if you have any comments or questions, encourage them through either Facebook or over the conference call, so we can still maintain our format of discussion as much as possible. So today we'll read from chapter 11, verse number 33. This title of this chapter is The Universal Form. And Arjuna has been beholding this very spectacular and splendorous form that has put him in this mood of awe and reverence. And then, after seeing some more gruesome aspects of the universal form, has put him into a point of fear. And in the prior verse, this Krishna is saying, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds." So, quite interesting in the current time we are in. But Krishna speaks in this 33rd verse very important instructions to Arjuna. So thought we could discuss that and tie it into our current situation. So the verse reads, "Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Sabyasachi refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. And thus Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument. Nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest perhaps it was like this, or maybe like that. But there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this world. What is the plan? The cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to Om. As long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic creation are under the superior guidance of God. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. So, very interesting purport and very appropriate as we try to navigate our current situation in the world with this COVID-19 coronavirus wreaking havoc in our so-called peaceful life. But as Srila Prabhupada says here, everything is happening according to a superior plan. And if one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. So we can discuss a little bit about, certainly the current situation and the current times we are in. With this coronavirus having, such an upheaval of our day-to-day activities, we can really try to understand, what is the plan of Krishna? Certainly everything is happening under his jurisdiction. He is the supreme controller. And so our opportunity here is to try to understand the plan of Krishna and understand how to find peace and happiness amidst the difficulty. And there are many lessons and opportunities for us to understand this situation. Of course, in times like this where there is this sort of humanitarian crisis, I shouldn't say sort of, it is, we must take the adequate precautions and procedures to protect the spread of this virus and to protect the body. But we should ask the question, for what purpose am I seeking to protect this body? And we can dovetail even those activities into our Krishna consciousness. Because ultimately, this body, this form, is but a vehicle to render service to the Lord. And that is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. That Arjuna, you be an instrument in the fight. He refers to Arjuna here as Sabyasachi, which Srila Prabhupada writes is very expert. It refers to one who can shoot arrows both left-handedly and right-handed, ambidextrous. So Krishna is saying that the battle has already been fought, but he still wants Arjuna to do his part, right? To be this instrument. So our role here is to also be an instrument in Krishna's plan. So in times like this, we sometimes become bewildered by what is the plan, right? Why is Krishna bestowing these sort of situations upon us? Well, ultimately, as Srila Prabhupada writes, the cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned soul to go back to Godhead, back to home. So that is the whole purpose of Krishna's plan. So in this difficulty, we can search out for those opportunities and lessons of what it is that we are supposed to glean from this. So, in times of difficulty and crisis, we seek shelter in so many different things. We put our faith in so many different things. We put our faith in healthcare and the government and the advice of different people. We put our beliefs in those institutions for protection. Right? But ultimately, as we come to Krishna consciousness, we know that the best place to put our faith is in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is the only means to become fearless. Otherwise, we will constantly be put through different aspects of fear. This coronavirus is very, scary and has so much, widespread impact. But it will go, it will pass also. And at some point in the future, we will even forget what COVID-19 was. It seems so hard to imagine right now, but it will happen. Yet, will we be free of fear? No. That is not going to pass until we transcend our consciousness. Right? So if we see, and since the history of time, the residents of Vrindavan, when they were fearful by the torrents of rain being devastated upon them, where did they go to seek shelter? Krishna. When the cowherd boys were being, being attacked by various demons, they went to Krishna. They had so much faith in Krishna. Even when Aghasura had his giant mouth opened, and the boys are looking and thinking, oh, this looks like a big serpent. Oh, well, let us go inside. Krishna's with us. Even entering the mouth of a serpent was not fearful to them. Why? We have Krishna with us. What can happen? So the residents of Vrindavan, they know, where is our shelter? It is in that all-loving Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always protecting his devotees. He's always caring for them. Right? And we see throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj, how he was tormented. The torment he went under compared to our current situation. Our current situation is nothing. He was thrown from cliffs, put into a pit of snakes, trying to be burned in fire, frozen in ice, trampled by elephants. Yet, he was completely fearless. How is he fearless? Based on his faith in Krishna, his practice of spiritual life. Even when his body was at great risk, he was very peaceful. Queen Kunti, calamity after calamity. Where did she turn for shelter, for protection?
Krishna.
Krishna. She even prays for them. Come again and again and again. Why? Because she says, when I am in trouble, you always appear. You always come. And so for that, I pray for these calamities. Srila Prabhupada, when he was enduring heart attacks on the ship, who came into his dream? He had a dream that night that all the Dasa avatars had come and were rowing his boat across the Atlantic Ocean. When any difficulty came to ISKCON during his time, what did he do? He told the devotees, chant, do kirtan in the temple, all will be good. So we see in history and in modern times, where is the source of our shelter in this difficult time? It is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna, he was in the midst of a terrible crisis, killing his loved ones, his grandfather and guru and cousins. That was a crisis of epic proportion. Millions were destined to die in just a few days. And when he could not solve his grief and fear and anxiety, where did he turn to?
Krishna.
Krishna. He said, I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So we can learn from these great events. They're not just stories. They are instructions of where we can turn to obtain, peace and understanding from, this very difficult situation. Again, it is not that we are going to ignore the aspects that are, affecting the different protocols and things that must be undertaken. Of course, that is there. But our mood can be one of appropriate caution, but no fear. We should have full faith and in the protection of the Supreme Lord. Krishna says, Mare Rape Krishna Ke, Rape Krishna Mare Ke. Whoever Krishna wants to protect, nobody can harm, even the coronavirus. And whoever Krishna wants to harm, nobody can protect, even the strongest of vaccines. So ultimately, there are many lessons we can learn from this. The first and most prevalent and obvious is we are dependent on the Lord's mercy. How our existence can in an instant be thrown into a tumultuous situation. Schools are canceled, stock markets are plummeting, 401k accounts are diminishing, groceries are limited, supplies are... These are very tumultuous situations. Right? It reminds us that we are so dependent. We don't have independent control of anything. Just months ago, before this, there was no thought about how dependent I am on, the lack of these different living entities in the world. Yet, we see that everything, our whole existence here, we are dependent on the Supreme Lord. So, it is a nice, healthy reminder for us of this opportunity. And the situation that we face today, it's an interesting question, because how much of our consciousness is consumed in this current situation? Yet we speak from the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, I am not this body. I am not this body. So the effect, the proportionate effect of this on our consciousness is a nice indicator of how much I'm making progress towards I am not this body. Of course, we are not blind by the occurrences of the body, but we can remember I am spirit soul, transcendental to this. Right? And so this opportunity, these opportunities like this are a healthy reminder for us of helping us recognize, where is my consciousness? In reality, if we paid as equivalent attention to the protection of the body during this time of this situation, if we paid that same attention to the protection of our soul's journey back home, back to Godhead, how much progress we would make in spiritual life. We are, I can say, appropriately concerned about the health and safety of our body by taking so many nice precautions, even though we are they're not exciting to do, but we are willing to do them in the midst of this calamity. Yet, actually, this calamity is facing us day in and day out, well before this virus and long after it. Krishna says, Dukhalayama Shashvatam. From the top to the lowest of all, there is constant difficulty. Right? So this in time will also pass. But the question is, what are we going to do with our journey back home, back to Godhead? If we apply the same intensity and sincerity in this current situation to the situation of our spirit soul, conditioned by this material nature, and seek to take us, ourselves, out of this position, we can make very rapid progress. So I'm here to say that I don't think that the attention being paid to the coronavirus is too much. In fact, if we take that same amount of attention and apply it to our soul, then what would happen? And Srila Prabhupada says that Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. How many of us want to be happy? We all do. We all want to be happy. Right? So the path to happiness in all circumstances is through the process of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada is so graciously instructing us about how to achieve that. So in this verse we see that everything is happening by my arrangement, Krishna says. What is the cause of the difficulties of the world we see around us? It is but a reaction to whatever activities the world has done. It is a simple equation and formula. Right? So it is happening under the Supreme Lord's arrangement, yet it is happening due to the different activities. So what is our options, our opportunity? Well, our opportunity is to be an instrument in Krishna's plan. And Krishna's plan is he has manufactured this material world as a gentle reminder in this current time, not so gentle reminder. But there's not a place for gentle men and gentle women. But yet this is a place where one can make great progress in returning back home to our original consciousness. And by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have understood that this very simple yet highly potent process, chanting of the holy names, can quickly and immediately uplift our entire situation, right? In the midst of the greatest of calamities. Think about Prahlad Maharaj. Think about Srila Prabhupada. Haridas Thakur in the marketplace. The devotees in Navadvip when John Kazi threatened to beat those performing kirtan. Time and time again, Krishna was there to protect. And he certainly will be here to protect all of us. So, our ultimate shelter must be the Supreme Personality of God. The process of devotional service, the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, engaging in Harinam Sankirtan, honoring Prasadam. These activities are the only means of upliftment. And they are proof positive. They work every time. And of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, it doesn't mean we ignore the precautions on the bodily platform. They are important. The body also is a vehicle to be this instrument in Krishna's plan. So we must take appropriate precautions. But there is no need to fear. The devotee, one of the characteristics of a devotee is they are fearless. Because we have fear of things we may lose. But we fear things of losing that we have value. And the devotee knows that my relationship with Krishna is my supreme possession. Nothing else has equal value. Even my iPhone or PlayStation isn't as valuable as my relationship with Krishna. And Krishna says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right in the beginning, in this process, there is no loss or diminution. It is the eternal benefit. Whatever credits we put into our bhakti account, our bhakti bank account, that account value is increasing. Stock market may be declining, but by the practice of devotional service, we can increase our bhakti account, and it will never dissipate. And so the devotee never has any fear, knowing that this relationship is eternal. Yes, this body may encounter some difficulties. We may encounter some, day-to-day challenges and managing different situations. But at the end of the day, in the big picture, my relationship with the Supreme reigns supreme, and I can remain fixed in His devotional service. So as we pray to the Lord, we may pray that we may remain peaceful and focused, so that we may chant nicely and attend to His services very nicely in the midst of these difficulties. Because this virus will also pass, but it will not mean the end to the difficulties of the material world. This world is fashioned in that way only. So let us look to a higher, more permanent solution to this situation. And yes, vaccines will come, but so will the next iteration of what we face. So that is our wonderful opportunity. And as Arjuna is being guided here, let us be the best of possible instruments we can be. Every ability we have, it is only given by the Supreme Lord. So by understanding that, acting according to His plan, we can find supreme peace and happiness, even in the midst of great difficulties. And so let us take shelter of this wonderful Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, and the holy names, and make great progress in our process of devotional service. Okay? So we'll conclude there. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantapoti Vaishnava ki jai. Is there any questions or discussion on today's topic?
Thank you, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, and Dhananam, all praises to you. Wonderful, eye-opening messages which you have given, Prabhuji. How we should stay steadfast in this path of Krishna consciousness and have that confidence in the faith in Him. Thank you, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad pranams. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantapoti Vaishnava
ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.